And now we're coming up to the weekly and monthly closes of Bitcoin, crypto, and the stock market. What an incredibly, hugely important time it is. Have a look at this. Would you have a look at this, right? Bitcoin is sitting right on the support that I named, right? This is that 107K area. Been talking about this area for a long time. Didn't think we would get here, right? Once we broke down around this area, I said, okay, well then I would think we get to 107.3K, we might wick past it, and there's a number of reasons why it could get defended. But you know what? This is going to be a huge week coming up, the early September, and a huge month, right? Because of two or three, not only because we have the rate cut possible, but also a number of things happening with Trump that is quite incredible, such as the launch of Won't Libertyfi coin. Most people don't realize that Won't Libertyfi could actually crash the market if it goes well. And people are like, what do you mean? That's very successful. That's very good for crypto. The president's coin is launching and is doing well. What most people don't realize is that if you remember when Trump coin, the Trump meme coin I'm talking about, when it first launched, like about 8 months, 10 months back, that actually made everything else pull back 5 to 10%. Why is that? Because everyone sold their coins to trade, to find some liquidity to buy the Trump coin. So some people had too much Solana, so they sold some Solana. Some people sold some ETH. Some people sold some XRP. Some people sold Arrow, RV, whatever it is. And that caused the whole market to go down 5 to 10% that day. But the only thing that was pumping was Trump. This could happen again. People don't realize this could repeat and happen again. A Won't Libertyfi coin launch, the DeFi coin launch from the Trump family, could actually crash the markets down 5 to 10% again, right? It's going to suck so much liquidity away. But there are a number of other issues that we're going to talk about today that revolves around Trump. So first of all, having a look at including a tiny meme coin that is kind of officially endorsed by the Trump and their partners. Okay, so look at this. This is you got to say the at least the levels I'm picking, we're getting bounces, technical bounces. So I originally said, look, 108.5K area. Wait, was 110.5K area, right? We got this bounce of 110.6K here, and here, right? All 3 days bounced off this 110.6K area because it's obviously, the top of these two tops and a bunch of little tops here. And then I said, okay, I think we're going to break down there and we're going to come to this line, 107.4. And for folks who've been watching my videos, I've drawn this line in there a long time ago because of these tops, right? And now we're bouncing exactly off that. So I hope this would turn out to be a bottoming tail here and give us some support, right? We really need to close higher than this. Why? Because of this. This is the weekly close coming up, right? Right now, it's Saturday afternoon, US, New York time. If we close the weekly, we have another like 26 hours to go before they close the weekly. So anything can happen. We'd hope we can close something like 112K and above. If not, and if we close at 108.7 like it is right now, then there's a chance, then that increases the chance we wick below or even a solid red bar close below, right? For next week. And that would be really bad, a close below this area. We really want to bounce here. So what about the monthly close? We're also 28 hours away from the monthly close. And I understand this is a bad looking chart, but it's not exactly a topping tail. Topping tails tend to have a small body of the candle, right? And a long wick. This has a relatively long wick, but the body is actually quite long here. The body is quite long here, right? If we can close at 112.5 or above, then in the next 28 hours, then that might actually give us more of a chance. The way it is closing right now, if we were to get the monthly close somewhere like here around this 108.5k area, like it is right now when I'm making the video, then I would expect more of a wick down below 107k, right? And then probably we bounce from there. So it's in the short term, it's not looking good if we close down below here. But what about this little meme coin that I'm talking about that the Trump family and his partners are backing? Before we answer that question, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo use? Well, Pablo uses exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show your ID. That means even the exchange can't see you, right? That means the IRS can't see you, tax office can't see you, FBI, CIA, nobody can see you. Total privacy. That's why Pablo made this deal with them. And for my followers to click on this link and win $25,000 weekly. I say it again, weekly prizes, not monthly, right? So see here, they have these competitions to win $2,000, $4,000, $8,000, $15,000, up to $25,000 just by trading on a weekly basis. And this is not an exchange-wide competition. This is just a Pablo competition for Pablo's followers who click on my link and can enjoy this competition. And even if you're in the top 60, you get to win a prize. Top 60, right? Just by trading volume. Or if you're in the like top 10, right? Just by if you're in the top 10, just by trading P&L, profit and loss, you can also win a prize, right? Lots of prizes, lots of competitions. So limited time only. This deal finishes on September the 12th, folks. And just keep in mind that if you are watching this on YouTube right now, then the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. But if you're watching this on another platform, such as this one, then click on my profile page. And then this is my Stan link or link tree. And if we click on that, then it's basically the first deal that pops up. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks. And just keep in mind, this deal is only on the Pablo link, only on the Pablo link. Okay, so as I was just showing you guys, what happened this week was that Trump is in the news so much. Like, I mean, his health problems was obviously one of them, but also Trump had this tariff thing. Look, you guys have probably seen it by now. So a court in the US, the appeals court, not the Supreme Court, which is it is going to now, the Supreme Court will have to rule on this, but the appeals court has basically ruled most of Trump's tariffs illegal, right? Illegal, because they said because Trump enacted those tariffs under the guise of whatchamacallit, under the guise of national emergency. It's like the National Emergency Act, and the court rules, well, this is not an emergency, it's something that's happening in slow motion, right? So Trump defied them and wrote this. This happened after the close of the market on Friday, after. And so the market he basically wrote, all tariffs are still in effect. Today, a highly partisan, he's blaming the Democrats, So why is this important? Well, obviously, if all the Trump tariffs are rescinded and there are no tariffs, I believe that will be a great thing for the markets, because remember, the market tanked and crashed. Like Bitcoin went to, what was it, 73K. Bitcoin went to 73, 74K, something like that in April and the bottom on April 7th because of the Trump tariffs. So therefore, if it's not happening at all, if it's illegal, then that's great news. That's great news for the markets. Right now, why does the Federal Reserve not cut interest rates? Why is the Federal Reserve afraid to cut interest rates? Because they think tariffs going to come in and prices going to jump up. And they say it's a one-off thing, but what if it, kicks off a self-reinforcing cycle? What if it kicks off a flywheel effect, if you will? And the Fed is worried about that, and they're right to be worried about that. So basically, if there are no tariffs, then that's great for the market, although Trump will fight it. But you know what? It's also will impact. It'll be bad for U.S. Treasury bonds. Treasury bonds will go down, interest rates, long-term yields will go up, and US dollar will go down. The reason is because by today, Trump has already collected for the US government something like $300 billion. $300 billion in tariffs. And that means, per year, they're going to collect something like up to $1 trillion. And that is going to, bring a lot of income and money into the US government, right? That's going to offset the, probably reduce the government spending deficit, the government budget deficit by 1 trillion. Right now, I think they're overrunning it by about 2 trillion. So that's going to have that the US government budget deficit and have it from 2 trillion down to 1 trillion. That's still a pretty big deal. That's still a lot. But it's a very good start. But now if the courts are ruling tariffs to be illegal, so then Trump has to repay back those tariffs of 300 billion. He has to repay them back to the importers who, like Walmart, Amazon, who are paying, those tariffs. Then basically, and the U.S. government then does not have an avenue or method to collect up to $1 trillion in taxes. That's what tariffs are, in taxes every year. Then what that means is basically U.S. budget deficit will blow out, U.S. Treasury bonds will tank, Treasury long-term yields will spike, and U.S. dollar will tank because there will be even less trust in the U.S. dollar. Okay, let's move on. What about this coin, this tiny coin, meme coin that the Trump family is kind of sponsoring? Check this out. Okay, this guy, Chris, is the CEO of Crypto.com. We all know that Trump just signed a major deal with Crypto.com. Here he is shaking the hand with Trump. That was a while ago. All right, but they knew this deal was coming. They already knew. This was March 25th, but they already knew this deal was coming. Come on, you don't tell me a deal as big as this was only negotiated in the last few weeks. So they just waited, 4 or 5 months to announce it because they felt it's safe now. So now, look, Crypto.com. So what did Chris, that's his own page, Chris, CEO of Crypto.com, he reposted and retweeted something from this coin called MCGA. MCGA stands for Make Crypto Great Again. So the new company that Trump has formed with Cronus, right? Crypto.com, second largest American exchange, right? Is basically called the Trump Media Group Crow Strategy, right? It's basically a play on MicroStrategy. But what will be the symbol? What will be the ticker of this when it's listed on the NASDAQ? Because it's a treasury company that buys Crow, just like MicroStrategy buys Bitcoin. It's going to be called MCGA, right? On the NASDAQ, it will trade under the symbol of MCGA. Make crypto great again. But here's the kicker. Chris, the head of Crypto.com, CEO of Crypto.com, posted this coin. What is this coin that's breaking this news? What's MCGA coin? It's a meme coin. They put their contract address right there, right? Their Telegram right there, and it says, let's make Crow great again, right? So it only had something like 600 followers, when I first saw it, right? So basically, right now it's got like 900 followers. It's basically just a tiny meme coin that happens to say, make crypto great again. And this is a pretty big deal when the CEO of Crypto.com is reposting them. So here, what he reposts is a message, an ad, right? One of those ads from Crypto.com. Like you can see, it's a properly shot ad.
Changes
right?
everything. And now
it's a commercial. Remember how in 2021 they hired Matt Damon to make that commercial called for Crypto.com, which says something like how does it go? The slogan was market rewards those who dare. Something rewards those who dare. Basically means if you're crazy enough, if you FOMO enough, you get rewarded. Anyways, It says, together we will make Crow great again. We will make Crow great again. That's right. MCGA. They just keep on, that's just going to be their slogan now. So the thing is, MCGA is going to be the ticker. It's got Trump's name on it, right? It's his treasury company to buy Crow. Crow is going to keep on pushing and tweeting MCGA, make Crow great again, make Crow great again. And I understand this can pop up on Solana chain, can pop up MCGA, can pop up on ETH chain. There can be copycats. But this time, not likely, because this time, even if they're copycats, people are probably going to ignore most of it and only focus on the Crow chain MCGA, because MCGA literally stands for Make Crow Great Again, right? See that? Okay, and I was telling my Discord about this coin, and I'm making the video now. Basically, when it was at 1 mil, right now it's still only at 1.89 or 1.9 mil, hasn't even doubled yet, right? Which is still tiny. So basically, you would think for a coin that's got Trump's name on it, that's officially going to be listed on the NASDAQ, and you can't really have copycats because literally the name says make Crow great again, not make ETH great again or make Solana great again. So you can create this MCGA on Pump Fund, but it's not going to be the same because it literally says make Crow great again. Okay, and by the way, here, I should say, I'm not sponsored, right? Legally, I would declare I'm not sponsored. So here's the thing. Even the CEO of Crypto.com tweeted about it, but and you might say, oh, he needs to retweet the news anyway. Retweets does not mean sponsorships, whatever. But here's the thing. This is a tiny meme coin with its own contract address in the bio. You don't think he knew this when he tweeted this? What about, and he still hasn't deleted this tweet yet. He still has not deleted this tweet yet. There are literally like 100 media sources he could have retweeted that reported the symbol MCGA is going to be the ticker on the NASDAQ. Why didn't he repost the Wall Street Journal, right? Fox News, Washington Post, New York Times, LA Times, right? Even the Economic Times from India, right? Or CNN, BBC, any of those, right? Economist, Business Insider, any of those publications. He didn't. He posted this thing from this meme coin. That's interesting, isn't it? So my theory goes basically that I think MCGA has somewhat of a chance it could list on Crypto.com, and that would be a pretty big deal for a coin that's at 1 mil, still at 1 mil right now, still below 2 mil to list on Crypto.com. This literally could be the mascot, the biggest, the mascot or the biggest meme coin in the entire Crow ecosystem. If that happens, of course, then Gate will list it, Mexi will list it, Bitunix will list it, a bunch of those smaller exchanges will list it. So this is something to watch out for, and I think it's got a lot of potential. Like, when else do you have a meme coin? It's the only meme coin, and you can't have copycats being launched this way, right? And even the CEO of a major exchange is tweeting about it. And overall, I just hope, as I've said before, that we wick through this 107K area, hold, and then bounce, and really do not go close below, these key support levels that Bitcoin has been building for the last 10 months, right? These 5 tops, right? If we have to wick below and close above or close back 107.4K, and then bounce up from there. That's about the good scenario we can look out for. The bad scenario is if it confirms below 107.3 or 4K, especially for the monthly close. Okay, thank you for your time, folks. I'll catch you next episode.